Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Big Taj, your spiritual big cousin. Today we're going to talk about spiritual relationships because I get so many questions asking about karmics and twin flames, and I want to give you guys the information and give you my personal opinion on it, but also add in an additional one that I recently learned about and I wanted to share. Okay, so we're going to hop right in. If y'all have any questions, please put it in the comments. Let's start a discussion on this. Okay. So spiritual relationships are connections that transcend this physical reality. These are relationships that involve a deeper level of intimacy and understanding. They are characterized by having a shared purpose and growth that requires you to leave your ego behind and let go of your self-interest, kind of like step into this selfless energy. And there are several types of these spiritual relationships, but today we're going to talk about four, okay? Now, the first that we're going to talk about is the karmic relationship, okay? This is thought to be a relationship that is formed over past lives, and it's a relationship where these two energies come together in this life to finish unfinished business. This is considered a good thing because there is wisdom or a lesson that you have refused to learn that involved this energy or this person, but I call it energy because we're all energy, but the specific energy or archetype or pattern. And you're finally able to get a good look at it in this lifetime and try to break the cycle. This relationship is about past life karma, and the relationships are meant to be temporary because they can be emotionally and physically harmful or abusive. However, I do need you guys to be careful, though, when it comes to acknowledging when you are in a karmic relationship, because there are people who will realize that they're in a karmic relationship and use this as an excuse to stay in a situation that is abusing or misusing you. Okay, a karmic relationship is meant to be temporary. Once you learn the lesson, which is usually to love yourself more, right? To have good boundaries, to assert yourself, you should be moving out of that relationship. And I'll give you guys some tips on how to get out of them. Okay. A lot of people research this information and can convince themselves that this is where they're meant to be. When you realize you're in a karmic relationship, you need to look through patterns of behaviors, recurring things that keep coming up, and look for the lesson in the situation. Also, look at your emotions because emotions are your guide in this reality. So you need to be asking yourself, how is this relationship making you feel? Okay. And then look at the other places in your life that have also made you feel that way, because there's something that needs to be addressed. Okay. So how do you recognize a karmic relationship? There are usually a couple signs, or a lot of signs, but here are just the main ones I want you guys to pay attention to, okay? These are usually the people that you meet and there is an immediate connection. It feels very natural and it feels like there is a powerful connection between you two, okay? These situations usually feel like an emotional roller coaster, like going up, going down when it comes to your emotional state. There is this gut feeling that y'all have met before, okay? Through this relationship, you're able to gain self-awareness about unresolved childhood trauma and relationship trauma that you have not dealt with. You feel obligated to this person rather than feeling a genuine or romantic connection. This usually comes from trauma bonding or them presenting themselves as a friend and working their way in, okay? You go through cycles of being attracted to them and cycles of being completely fucking repulsed by them. And then at the end of it or during the relationship, you will feel emotionally drained, okay? How to get out of them, lean on your community. A lot of times the reason why people end up in these situations is because they're seeking external validation, because society has told us that women are supposed to play a certain role, men are supposed to play a certain role, and a woman without a man holds no value, right? So it's really important for you to learn how to validate yourself, okay? Lean on the community around you. Practice self-care and self-love every single day. Pour back into yourself. The energy that you was giving that person, give it back to yourself. Do shadow work centered around loving yourself more and forgiving yourself and other people. Try to separate from that person as long as possible. Journal, listen to music, or start creating to help alchemize your pain into something beautiful. It really does help you to put it somewhere, okay? Meditate to manage your thoughts and visualize the future that you want to see, because the universe operates based off of what you do want. It's going to grant you abundance in whatever it is that you focus on. So you need to be focusing on what you do want opposed to what you don't want, so that you can create the reality that you actually want to experience. Okay. And then the last one is seek professional help. Go get a therapist, go to a spiritual mentor, whatever you need to do or whatever your flavor is. But don't be afraid to reach out for help, because I think a lot of times is that people will feel, especially if they're in a relationship with a narcissist, that they are alone because they have been isolated or because they have stayed in this situation longer than most people can tolerate, and people have abandoned them or felt like, well, when you get out of this, you come back, or whatever the case may be. But when you need help, the people around you should, if they're good people, step up for you and help you out. Okay. And if they don't, go get professional help. All right. Next is a soulmate. Now, soulmate can either be a platonic or a romantic relationship. These are usually lifetime bonds because these are usually the people who fit into your life easily. You usually have the same temperament, meaning like vibe, I guess, or like, yeah, I guess that's temperament is kind of like your vibe, your mood, your overall mood. And you enjoy the same things and you just kind of fit into each other's life like a puzzle piece. These are going to be more harmonious and complementary in nature. There's going to be a lot of mutual support in this relationship as well. However, you have to understand that a soulmate is not meant to complete you because you are already complete. Okay. They are just meant to enhance your experiences, pushing you beyond your own limitations. So these are the people who you just like being around and they make your life more enjoyable. Okay. So you got to understand that anytime you're coming into connection with somebody, it needs to be two whole people coming together and not coming together out of this desperation of trying to make yourself feel whole. Okay. Because you already are whole. You already are complete. It should be two complete people coming together to enjoy this time as one. Okay. Also understand that in order for you to find your soulmate connection, you really do need to be living authentically and you really do need to know yourself, because this is a soul to soul connection, meaning that this person is going to speak to you on a soul level. So the mask that you put up, if you're not able to 100% be yourself around this person, then this is not, you're going to be your soulmate. Okay. But in order for you also to find your soulmate, you need to go back and you need to do shadow work. You need to look at your past experiences and figure out what conditioning was society, what conditioning was your parents, and how you actually feel about certain situations. You need to look at how you've reacted in certain situations to figure out who you are. Do that in a non-judgmental way so that you can integrate the parts of you that you have hidden or you have kept from society in order for you to be more digestible to people. Okay, so live authentically, and that is how you find this person. Now, this person speaks to your soul, not the mask you have put up to survive this reality. Soulmates are not usually toxic. Karmics are usually the more toxic relationship. But how do you recognize a soulmate? There is a mind, body, and soul connection, meaning that the way you act, the way you think, and the way that you feel about things usually align. And you have been able to connect with this person in a way that you have not been able to connect with others. There is a ease to this relationship. It's almost just like you guys fall into each other's life without any type of tension, conflict, or anything like that. Okay. Next, we'll talk about twin flames. Okay. So I get asked about twin flame relationships all the time. So I want to start off by saying that twin flames is a new age spiritual concept. Okay. This did not come around until about 1999. So it's only been popularized in the last 26 years by an author named Elizabeth Clare Prophet in a book called Soulmates and Twin Flames, The Spiritual Dimension of Love and Relationships. Okay. Now I feel like it's important to mention this because I think people are literally fucking obsessed with finding their twin flame. And it's important to note that this is just a spiritual belief, not anything backed by evidence or validated by several people experiencing the same phenomenon. Okay. Whereas the other two, several people have experienced that same concept, but this is one person saying this. Okay. This is considered to be an intense and profound soul connection. It's supposed to be the strongest of all the soul connections. These are supposed to be two people who come from the same soul, who separate so that they can be like perfect mirrors to each other. So you can kind of like see your blind spots in this other person. They are meant to have separate journeys, but they come from the same essence. This is a very similar idea of soulmates, but this would be like a combination between a karmic and a soulmate. And that's my personal opinion. Okay. You have this deep and meaningful soul connection where it seems like you are of the same soul or cut from the same cloth, but the relationship has intense challenges that force both people to confront and resolve their unresolved issues. This relationship can be romantic, platonic, or like a mentor type of situation. But what you need to understand is that this knowledge has caused so many issues because people are obsessed with finding their twin flame. And because you're told through this book that you only have one and they're your person and you're going to come together and blah, blah, blah. people are searching for this, and there's a bit of a obsessiveness that comes from this situation. Not only that, addictive and abusive qualities to this relationship, because you think that this is supposed to be your person and you meant to be with them. And so it causes you to condition yourself against your intuition, because you're constantly telling yourself, oh, they're just mirroring back to me, what is me, and I understand them so well, so I should stay. Or a psychic tells you, oh, this is your twin flame, and now you're staying in an abusive situation for way longer than you're supposed to. I literally got someone on live one time who was like, yeah, I'm with my twin flame and we've been together for 10 years, even though he's cheated on me multiple times. And I wanted to leave, but we fought it through. Like, what? No, it's ridiculous, the stuff that I hear about this. So I will say my own personal opinion, I don't like the idea of a twin flame, because to me, it feels like something else that they created to condition women against their intuition. That's my own personal opinion. I'll give y'all the information. Y'all make y'all own opinion about it, okay? But I think it does drive women to be super fucking obsessive and super abusive in these relationships, because they think this is their person. So they become very possessive over that person. How do you recognize these relationships? You experience really high highs and really low lows in your emotional state. So they're a lot more emotionally volatile. There's an inner conflict between whether to stay or to go. There's fluctuating commitment levels, meaning that you guys are on or you're off again. So one of these examples of a relationship like this would be Carrie Bradshaw and Big off of Sex and the City. They're mirroring all your blind spots back to you. You can't hide anything from them because they are you. You can feel their presence, energy, and emotions when you guys are not together. And the last thing is that it could be an abusive relationship, because this concept is sold to us as spiritual growth. Okay. So that means that somebody in the relationship is allowing this person to do anything to them, and they can do anything, but they still stay together under the guise of spiritual growth. Okay. And I'm going to say it again. I hope it don't sound ridiculous, but I am not too fond of this idea of twin flames. Okay. It came out of nowhere, and only one person has ever represented it this way, and then it went through the spiritual community really fucking fast. And I always get suspicious when we latch onto something very quickly. And I've seen too many people who have come to me and asked me about their twin flame partner, who is actually just a fucking narcissist who is abusing them, and they're making every excuse under the world because they have low self-esteem or low self-worth to stay in a situation that is not serving them. And in fact, it's hurting them. I just don't like that, okay? However, my opinion does not matter. Yours does. So I want you guys to take this information and apply what feels good to you and let go of what does not. But my best advice to you is to not be fixated on external validation to make you feel whole, but instead that you create a life you want. Make sure that you are the best and most authentic version of yourself, and understand that you set the standard for how people treat you in your life. So treat yourself well, be patient, and trust your intuition overall. Make sure that you are a whole person before you try to get into community with somebody else. Make sure that when you try to get into a connection with somebody else, it's not based off the fear that you're going to be alone, or that you are not worthy, or whatever the case may be. Because again, if you have not done the work, when this situation that is actually meant for you comes along, you're not going to know how to handle it. Okay, so focus that attention that you're putting into finding someone outside of yourself to finding yourself. Okay. Now, there's one more relationship that I want to discuss, which is of the Yoruba religion, and this is called the Egbe relationship. And this is basically a spiritual contract or connection between a person and a spiritual entity that is not on this physical plane, often described as a husband or a wife. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I told you guys about the TV show Cloak and Dagger. Well, there's a girl in the show who is trying to date the young boy. However, they are, I think, Haitian voodoo high priestess, and she has to basically marry one of these spiritual deities, so she cannot have a husband or anything like that on this side. So she basically in the show sacrifices her ability to actually be with the boy because she has one of these Egbe relationships. Okay, so if you need an example of that, watch Cloak and Dagger. Okay. But not understanding that you have an Egbe relationship can cause your relationship issues while you're on the earth side, because your spiritual partner is able to influence your life while you're here. And sometimes they'll mess up every relationship that you have. And this can only be rectified through acknowledgement, spiritual practices, and appeasing that Egbe. Okay. So boom. those are the 4 spiritual relationships that I wanted to go over today. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, reach out to your girl and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Besides that, I will see y'all in the next episode. Make sure you like, comment, share, repost, subscribe, all of the things, because you know they love to censor my content. So make sure y'all tap, y'all engage with this content so that more people can see it. Okay. But I appreciate y'all for watching my content as well. Until next time.